All right, guys, so kind of looking forward, you have today's class, and then you have 2 classes next week, and that is it for this semester. So time has flown by. Absolutely wacko to think that we've already been doing online learning for an entire semester. So I think that we can all kind of reflect and think about what went well and what didn't go well and what we're going to do differently next semester. So I think what my goal is and looking forward is today we're going to go over what we've been doing for the last week and a half, those vocabulary words. And then next class, you'll have a test in USA test prep, which will be like your final exam. And so that exam will encompass these vocabulary words that we've been doing, like the vocabulary words from the beginning of the year, like point, line, plane, all of that. You'll need to know bisector. So essentially, it's kind of like what you did on the last test, plus all the vocabulary, and you can find that in your geometry dictionary. So that's what you'll do on Monday and Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday, I'm going to give you a mini, like very small quiz, and then that'll be the end of the semester. So today will really be my last day with you, providing direct instruction. So if you have any questions, today is the day to ask them. So we're going to start by, this is normally a homework assignment. We're going to start by filling this in right now together, and then like you've been doing, you can just take screenshots of it. So let me go ahead and outline this so we're all kind of on the same page. So A wants all segments parallel to XT. So I'll highlight them, and I won't do that for all of them. Sorry, when I'm walking, my lines are not very straight. So do you notice how if I draw these straight, all of these lines are parallel, okay? So all of those would be the answer to this. So we have ZV, WS, YU, okay? And those are all segments that are parallel to XT. So now we kind of need to erase these lines and look at the next one. So I'll highlight them, and then you guys can either tell me in the chat or whatever, however you want to tell me which ones would be parallel. So that's the original line. And parallel lines are equal distance apart from all points, and they will never touch. So all of those lines are going to be parallel. So can you tell me in the chat what you got? Tiffany, that's fine. Will you remind me when I stop screen sharing to update attendance? Actually, hang on. I have it open on my second screen. You're good. I'm doing it right now. Okay, so in the chat, tell me some lines that are parallel to ZY. I have them highlighted on my screen. And as you tell me them in the chat, I will type them into this box. Perfect, guys. Okay, so there's only 3. So now we want all segments that are parallel to VS. I'm going to change our color to something more exciting. I feel like pink is exciting. All right. So if we look at VS, these are actually, it's the only segment that would go with it because parallel lines have to be equal distance apart and they can never touch. So therefore, that is what we are left with. The next question talks about parallel planes. So I'm going to outline the plane. It says STU. So the easiest way to do this is to start at S and then go to the next letter and over. And you can notice that they are highlighting this very bottom plane right here. So once the plane that is parallel to this one, can anybody tell me what the letters of that plane are before I start highlighting it? So we want the plane parallel to it. Good job, guys. So you want the one that's actually right above it. So this would be our parallel plane, and we can talk about what we would call it. So you name a plane with only 3 letters. So any 3 of these letters in any order would work. So W, Y, X, that would work. So when we look at this one, you have UVS. Sorry, not UVS, UVZ. So go to U, then V, then Z. So it's talking about this back plane right here. And something we know about planes is that they go on forever in all directions. So the plane that would actually be parallel to it is the one in front of it. Technically, they're different sizes, but because planes go on forever in all directions, that does not necessarily matter. All they're wanting to know is that they're parallel, and in this case, they are. So something else that we can look at right here is a plane is named with 3 letters. So we could pick any of these 4 letters. We just can only use 3 of them. So STX. So now we're going to talk about the word skew. Skew is kind of different because that's one of our vocabulary words, and we haven't had as much practice with this word right here, and you see it again here. So skew means that it's not parallel, it's not perpendicular, it like makes absolutely no sense with it. So how does that equate to this picture? Well, let's see. It wants SW first, so let me draw out SW for you. So we have SW as this original line. And we want something that's never going to touch it and is not parallel to it. So I could say this one. I could also say this one. I could say right here. And I could say down here. And that's it. Okay, because the rest of the lines in this picture are either going to touch it or they are parallel to it. So ZY, YX, UT, and VW. So we can continue on learning a little more about skew. And when we do that, once all segments skew to UT. Well, UT is right here. So if we're talking about all segments, I'm gonna use Christmas colors. All segments skew to it would have to never be touching and not parallel. So we can look at this. We could say right here. Right here. So everything that I have highlighted is not touching that green line and it's not parallel to that green line. That's what we know is skew. Just like that, okay? So questions on this very first segment. You don't need to screenshot it yet because we'll do the other one first. So this next section, we can only answer with these 3 words. So we have parallel, intersecting, or skew. Okay? There's only 3 words we can use. So it wants to know what you would call AB and BC. Somebody tell me in the chat what you would call those, AB and BC. Are they parallel? Are they intersecting? Or are they skew? Perfect, they're intersecting. Now we can look at AE. So we have AE, which is right here, and BF. Those are equal distance apart, so that means that they are parallel. Is this making sense to us? Those of you that are not answering, I know a lot of you are answering. So we have EF and AD. So EF, I'll highlight it. EF and AD. So go ahead in the chat box and tell me what you're thinking. Yeah, they're skew because they don't make any sense together. They're not parallel, they're not perpendicular, they're not intersecting. Skew is the only word that goes with them. Great job, Kristen. All right, now we're going to talk about planes. So we have plane A, B, C. So start at A, go to B, go to C. So it's talking about this bottom plane right here. And then we're talking about A, B, E, F. So we can start, sorry, we're talking about A, B, F. So we got start A to B to F. So it's talking about this side one. Well, I already know, although this didn't really make purple, it should make purple because red and blue together make purple. Well, it created another color because they are, yep, intersecting. And then we have the last one. Is we have plane AED. So A to E to D, which is right here. And BFC, which is right here. So what would be a word used to describe these? They are parallel because they're running equal distance across from each other at all points. Okay. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this before I move on to the next section and add this into your notes, which you will want for your interim, which you have next class, and you'll also want it for your baby final. So you're taking a screenshot of this. And I'm giving you 1 minute to do that. Oh, I heard somebody take a screenshot. You guys are so great. All right, I'll go ahead and clear this. So we're gonna work on this next section. And so basically we have like a full worksheet, and then I'll talk to you about your interim, and then I'll talk to you about the quiz, and then you'll be free to go. So you have some time to study at the end, hopefully. So we wanna look at this diagram right here and determine what kind of angles these are. So if you need to pull up your vocabulary words from last class, you can. Just remember, we are only looking at where this 1 is and this 2. So what kind of angles would we call these? What kind of angles would we call angle 1 and angle 2? Great job. Alternate interior. What about angle 1 and angle 2 in this next picture? Yep, same side exterior. Which you can also call consecutive. Which I'm not going to spell for you because I know I won't spell it right. Now we have angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1 and angle 2 in picture 5. So if you're just now joining us, when we look at that, we're looking at this angle right here and this angle right here. So 1 and 2. Yeah, perfect, corresponding. And questions on the test are just like this. So go ahead and look at this next one, what you think it is. So 1 and 2. Yeah, they're consecutive interior. Great job. Or we can call them same side interior. Either way is okay. All right, what about 1 and 2 in question 7? Great job. They're corresponding again. Question 5 and 7 is the same picture, just kind of flipped upside down. And lastly, if we look at question 8, good job, alternate exterior. Okay, because they're on opposite sides and they're both on the outside. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this section, and then we will continue on. Give me about 1 minute. All right, we have, so we're gonna finish this up and then I'll talk to you about your tests and then you'll be free to go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and color these lines to kind of help us a little bit, which I don't think necessarily needs to be done, but we can do that anyway. And I'm gonna go ahead and color this one too at the same time. There's no rhyme or reason as to what color I'm coloring things. I'm just coloring them so that it's kind of easier for us to point out while we're learning. All right, so we got these colored. All right, so we want to name the transversal that is in question 9. So question 9, we're just looking at this upper picture that has the red, the yellow, and just blue on it. So what is the transversal called? What color line is crossing two other lines? Because that would be the transversal. Yeah, so it's transversal out. Perfect. Now we need to come up with all of the corresponding angle pairs. So come up with corresponding angle pairs. So just tell me two numbers. One and three. Good job. 1 and 3 are what else? 1 and 3 is perfect. 2 and 4, awesome, love it. 5 and 7, beautiful. And 6 and 8, good job. Now we have alternate interiors. There's only 2 answers for this one. Alternate interior. Good job. 2 and 7 is one. And 3 and 6 is the other. Now we have alternate exterior. And those are going to be on opposite alternating sides. So we have 1 and 8. And 5 and 4. Good job, guys. Consecutive interior. Perfect. Just like that. And then lastly, we need the consecutive exterior. Perfect, perfect, perfect. 1 and 4, 5 and 8. So for all of these, except for corresponding, there's only 2 sets of angles. Okay? So this next activity, question 10, should be easy because all you need to do is look and say what color are both of these on, and then that will help us answer it. So we look for 1 and 5. What color are both 1 and 5 on? I'll tell you this one. It's blue. And if you follow the blue all the way over, you see an R. So it's transversal R. So I think you guys got it from here. So we have 7 and 14. So which transversal is that? Q, perfect. 8 and 11. 8 and 11, they're both on green. What's the green transversal called? It's kind of cut off there, isn't it? That's an S. Then we have 6 and 15. 6 and 15. Good job. They're on the red transversal, which is transversal Q. Then we have 3 and 9. 3 and 9. Perfect. They're on the yellow one, which is P. All right, go ahead and take a screenshot of this for your notes. Give you 1 more minute to do that. Okay. We have one last section. I was really hoping I could fit this all into one page. I think I can if I do it like that. All right, so we just want to classify the angle pairs. I'll go ahead and color these as well to help us a little bit. That line is really ugly, but that's okay. Using all of the primary colors. Just like that, okay? So we want to know 4 and 7, what kind of angles are those? 4 and 7. So 4 and 7 are both on the blue one. Great job, they're consecutive interior or same side. How about 2 and 11? They're both on that red transversal P. Great job. Alternate exterior. 6 and 16. 6 and 16. So 6 and 16, those are both on the green transversal. Good job. So they're consecutive exterior, same side. How about 8 and 13? 8 and 13. Wonderful. $11 and $15. 11 and 15. Good job. How about 7 and 10? So if you really think about this, angles have to both be on the same color in order to have a word to describe them. And 10 is on the red and the yellow. And 7 is on the green and the blue. Good job, Naila. So the answer is none. How about 9 and 14? 9 and 14. Yep. Yep. 12 and 15? $12 and $15. Yep, perfect. How about 6 and 7? 6 and 7. One's an interior and one's an exterior. One's on the left of the green line and one's on the right of the green line. So you are correct, it's none. Then we have 1 and 3. Perfect. Corresponding. 14 and 16. Yeah, it's the exact same answer, corresponding. 6 and 15. Alternate exterior. Then, sorry, this one's gonna be kind of squeezed in here. 5 and 10, 5 and 10. They're both on the yellow transversal, that's perfect. Alternate interior. And then we have 8 and 14. The last one, 8 and 14. Yep. Oh, go ahead and mute yourself if you're not muted. Okay. All right, go ahead and take a screenshot of this so you can add it to your notes. So you're taking a screenshot of this to add to your notes. Maybe about 1 more minute to do that. and then we'll talk about your quiz. And then I will stick you in breakout rooms and give you some time to study and go over vocab on your own. All right. All right, so we are going to eventually get to this, but we're not going to get to this year. There's no point in me attempting to do this with you, and then Christmas break happens and we've lost it all. So we're going to kind of pause with where we are at and skip this. So what I'm going to give you for your like final in this class is just going to be the top half. Why is it blacked out? Okay, just going to be this top half right here. Okay. So you're gonna have to dissect this and come up with these meanings right here, and you'll have your USA test prep, okay? I will go over this section though really briefly just so that you've like seen it before class. Actually, yeah, we'll go over this really fast. So there's different ways when you have parallel lines and things are cut by transversals. And so there's different corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are going to be congruent. They're equal to each other. And again, we're going to touch base on this after Christmas break, so don't worry too much about this. I just wanted it to like be in front of your face for a second. Alternate interiors are congruent. Alternate exteriors are congruent. And the only ones that add up to 180 are consecutive. What does 180 mean? Well, that means that they're supplementary. So if we were to touch base on this, you know, I might add this to your quiz. I think I can handle adding this to your quiz. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this, add it to your notes. You should definitely be able to do this on the quiz. Sorry, I'm adding it. I won't make you actually solve for any numbers though. So add this to your notes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this, because you should have your screenshot pulled up while we go over this next part. So we'll go over just this right here. Promise, we'll just do example 1, okay? So when we look at this, so this is gonna be on your quiz. It won't be on your USA test prep, but it'll be on your quiz. So we have angle 3 and 5 in this. 3 and 5 are alternate interior. And based on what we just said above, alternate interiors are congruent. So you're kind of doing the same thing, you're just telling me what they equal. So now we have angle 1 and angle 8. And what you just typed in the chat box, you told me that they were consecutive. Exterior, which means same. So that means that they're going to equal 180. Or sorry, they're going to be supplementary. About 2 and 6. 2 and 6 are what kind of angles? Corresponding, yep. So they're going to be congruent, which means equal. So based on the vocabulary where that describes the angles, you can determine what they're going to be set up as. So 1 and 7, perfect, they're alternate exterior. And based on what we just said, we said they were congruent. 4 and 5, good job, guys. Those are consecutive. Interior, which means same side. And those are always going to equal 180 or be supplementary. Then we have 3 and 7. 3 and 7. Great job, they're corresponding. So therefore we know that they're congruent. 5 and 6. So 5 and 6, those are just, they're not an angle pair. Because these are just two normal supplementary lines. So they're not what we've been doing right now. I wouldn't count you off if you answered this, but they're just supplementary. Okay, but there's no angle pair. Then we have 2 and 4. Again, 2 and 4, they're just directly across from each other, so they're vertical. which means they're congruent, but there is no angle pair that goes with them. Okay, so go ahead and take a screenshot of that and add it to your notes. Okay. All right, so I'll show you the quiz one more time. So next class you have USA test prep, and the following class then you'll take the small quiz. So the small quiz is gonna look just like this. It's pretty much just gonna mirror exactly what we did today. And I took a video recording of this so I can send it out to you guys if you'd like. So this is your very first section. The second section, you're naming how you would name these angles and what transversal they're on. And the last section is you're just saying if they're congruent or supplementary and what the vocabulary word is to describe them. So just like what we just did. So it'll just be a one-page quiz, and that's it. So Friday, you'll do USA test prep. And then, sorry, not Friday. Monday and Tuesday, you'll do USA test prep. Thursday and Friday, you'll take that one-pager quiz. Does anybody have any questions?